What's up, everybody? It's Jacob coming to you live from an undisclosed location in the Rocky Mountains near Denver, Colorado. Thanks for coming out. Saturday night, 7 p.m. MST. Had a bit of a break, so appreciate you coming out on such short notice. Have a lot of updates for you all. If you've been getting my comment posts, I did mention that my dad was going through some health issues, and it was mostly once I got involved, boomer anger, around technology. He was just getting torqued because he can't get into informational websites and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me fine. I've got my levels. Yeah, it looks like we're good. And I have some other big updates, life updates as well that happened while I was helping my dad. One big thing that happened is I got a job. So I found some part-time work with an engineering firm doing some coding and stuff like that. Because those of you that know me, that's what I did for a living for decades. But yeah, it's definitely the end of an era. This is a much more older way that this company runs. And I've been introducing them to AI and using AI tools. But yeah, I mean, I'm making, if I accounted for full time, if I went full time, I would actually be making less money than when I graduated in 1996 and I worked for IBM up in the Silicon Valley. So yeah, it's definitely the end of an era for programming. It's tough out there. So I hope y'all are surviving and getting some work or getting something in the door. I was unemployed for damn near almost 2 years. Damn. It's weird. My brain, I'm tired. We're, doing the part-time job. And also something else that I want to show you, because I build things for the live streams. And some of these things have business applications. I don't always tell you that, but I do have reasons for building my my Hale 9000 AI character right here. We have the Hale 9000, which I'll open up for questions momentarily. And then I wrote the 8-ball Oracle as well. And what I working on now is something that I'm really excited about. And this is a trivia game type system that I'm making. This is a proof of concept. This is actually going to be a business that I'm building to actually do IT training. There's a lot of people in my field that are pivoting. And they're getting out of coding and they want to get into like cybersecurity, cloud computing, all the fancy schmancy stuff. And a lot of these things require certifications. And if you've ever studied for a certification, it's boring as, right? Reading all the official study guides, taking practice exams, all that stuff. So I thought I would build this tool to make it more exciting for me to practice a couple of certifications I'm going after. And in my school, actually have about 10 people that are just banging on my door like, Jacob, when are you going to have this thing ready? So, but what's cool about this thing is I'll be able to open this up so that y'all can come in on a website and answer the questions on the screen. Mainly to obscure like what people are saying in the live chat, but I will eventually make it so that because you guys probably don't want to like run a computer to play YouTube or an iPad and a phone to like run YouTube and answer questions. But my IT nerd friends, they eat that up all day long. But I'm not quite ready for prime time yet. We'll run through. I actually have a Star Trek trivia game that I did and a Walking Dead trivia game, more like surviving a zombie apocalypse themed around The Walking Dead, that we'll step through a couple of these and you can answer in the chat. But I have one last obstacle in order for me to get this public to y'all, is that I have to apply to Google for permission to use one of their mechanisms for logging in. So that way I can connect it to your Google identity and keep you anonymous, but at the same time, like show your avatar and leaderboards and all that fancy stuff. But I just want to demonstrate this for you real quick because I am super excited about this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let me just show you really quick. Well, by the way, Uh, I forgot to mention today's theme. We're going to talk about AI slop, right? What is AI slop? You'll hear this term a lot, but basically, a lot of companies are laying off with the excuse that they're using AI, but actually there's a lot of other things going on that I'll explain. And I have a really great video that's put out by Cold Fusion Television that has basically combined everything I've been talking about for the last year and kind of put it all together, connected all the dots. So we'll go through that. Oh, hey, Night Owl, thanks for coming out. Night Owl is our inaugural member. He's the very first member that joined my channel. So good to see you, brother. Hope everything's going well for you in Texas. I think you're going to like what I'm working on. Actually, I was going to contact you to see if maybe this could work in your industry. I won't say anything more than that, but I'll show you here momentarily what I'm working on. But yeah, tonight's topic is AI slop and the effect it's having on work. It's turning out a lot of these companies that I've been talking about off and on over the year is that they're losing their shirts. The cost to do AI is very, very expensive. And one of the things that's driving up the cost is just the terrible results they're getting. So a lot of companies really don't know how to use it. They just kind of have like, someone in the family or someone says, yeah, I can do that and set it up. And, or they're using people that aren't trained to set these things up. And we're running into all these problems, which I've been talking about over the past several months here. Let's see, let me back up. We'll go back to the videos here. So I've been talking about self-deletion, people, believing what the AI is telling them, which is kind of this AI psychosis. They're disconnecting from reality. It's becoming a huge problem. Yeah, we had this issue with a couple AIs getting a little kissy too much with children. And some other things that have been concerning me with AI in terms of how it's affecting not just the job market, but personal safety. So it's kind of been the theme of things that I've been talking about. And then my dad kind of had his issues with his, he had a bunch of prostate things that he's coming on a 10-year anniversary from a major cancer surgery. And so it was kind of like, yeah, we need to get you in and do the whole, check under the hood and do all the deep search kind of stuff. And he was just getting frustrated with all their websites and technology. And actually my dad, he's not a boomer. He's actually a silent generation. He's older, so he's even more curmudgeon-y. I love you, Dad. Hope if you're watching, thanks for taking care of that stuff and not ignoring it. I'm glad that you're staying on top of that. So I love you. Take care of yourself. All right. So let me get back here to the post. So yeah, AI slop. So as I talked about in the post, AI is being blamed for today's layoffs, but most corporate AI isn't creating productivity. This is the key right here. And I've been talking a little about this over the year, but I've got more examples that I want to show you how it's been getting worse and worse over the past year. And some other examples of where AI is being used as a scapegoat for the layoffs, where it's not actually really true. So we'll talk a little more about what's really going on. Because like I said in the post here, the real wave of automation hasn't hit yet. And when it does, the entry-level jobs are going to be the first to vanish. We're already seeing college students not being able to find work. And we're going to see some stuff with fast food in this video and some other things. But yeah, entry-level jobs, the career ladder is disappearing. And we're going to have a big problem where young people aren't going to have the experience or the baptism in fire, so to speak, to be able to go up to the mid-level. So it's going to be a very, very interesting problem if we don't fix the education system here soon. But the good news is everyone's going into the trades. So that's a good sign. So at least we'll be able to get our plumbing fixed, right? So yeah, what I'm working on. So I talked about this trivia game thing. I've been talking about it off and on for, last several months, and I've been toying around with it. And like I said, I have one last obstacle before I can open it up to you guys, but I wanted to kind of show it to you to kind of get your feel for it, see what you think, and ask you a couple of questions for some features that I'm thinking about. So let me Oh, that's full screen. Here we go. So yeah, there we go. You can see my big potato head there. So let me go back to the post screen here and kind of show you like what you guys would see. So this is your view in this in the stream. And let me actually, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to load the Star Trek trivia. So we'll go ahead and start a game here. I'm going to push the first question out. And you'll see here that's got a timer on it. And it tells you how many people are registered, because right now, like I said, I have to register with Google to allow you guys to register. But it puts the questions in here so you can see and the answers. And you can kind of see how, like in IT certification, where it says, well, if you want to connect the theming bobby to the BB bobby, do you do it with A, B, C, or D? You know, figure it out. So yeah, it's IT certification is a totally awesome use case for this. And there's two more modes that I've been talking about. Oh, by the way, let me answer this before it times out. Let me push this real quick. I'm going to push it again. There we go. Obviously the enterprise, right? So I'm going to submit my answer, and you can see that when I submitted my answer, that it shows in the game board that B, which was the enterprise, the answer that I picked, and I'm only one of one, it showed how many are answering, but is the answer right? So what I can do is, with my my Game Master dashboard here, I'll show you the answer. Answer is B. Captain Kirk commands the USS Enterprise in Star Trek, the original series. So, yeah. So let me show you like what your interface would look like here. Let me switch over. I got to concatenate all my screens here on my Stream Deck. So yeah, that's the game board. That's called the game board. And this is the player board. So what would happen is I can show you a QR code on the screen, and you scan that, and that'll open up in your phone. And then you'll get this interface, or you could visit on your computer, and I push out the question, and within the time limit, you have to answer the correct question, submit your answer. And as you submit your answer, the game board reacts to the answers here and shows how many people are answering. And there's a timer, mainly for the IT certification. Usually you have depending on the test, like 30 seconds to 4 minutes before you have to answer the question. Otherwise, you won't finish the exam. So that's another reason why I built it that way. Anyway, so I kind of was curious what you guys thought about this in terms of like having to load something on your phone. You do have to log in. So eventually, I'll show your avatars, like when y'all come in, and I show the avatar in the bottom here, and hey, there, who's getting ahead, who's winning the most, all that kind of thing. But right now, I just want to keep it anonymous, just so I'm not leaking anybody's identity unnecessarily. The other thing too is I haven't told you, but I actually have YouTube with a 2-second delay. So actually, I'm only 2 seconds behind you, and so this makes the interaction faster. So I kind of want to see if you guys are having problems with the audio, the video. And because my understanding is that there's no like DVR capability, and if you have not a so good internet connection, it's not as good for you. So you might get dropout. So I'm just kind of curious if y'all are having issues. So just drop in the chat, let me know what's going on. And one other thing that I'm working on, I've mentioned this before, but I'll just briefly remind you, for this platform, I have 2 other modes that I'm working on. The second mode is the text-based adventure mode. So if you remember those books in the 80s where you would go to the end of the chapter and you had to pick, you come to a calamity and you have to make a decision. Where do I go next? And then it says, well, if you decide you want to fight the orcs, go to page, whatever. Or if you want to turn tail and run like a little bitch, go to the page, whatever. And so there'd be like 30 different endings to the game. And so I was thinking of using AI to build some of these text-based adventures. But in the business world, in the IT world, I could simulate cybersecurity breaches. So that's the business application. So I'm kind of thinking for you, Night Owl, for your industry, which is medicine, or as I used to say when I was a kid, medicine. Maybe there's some good applications there. And I built this app to be what is called multi-tenant, which means many different customers can log in and use it simultaneously. But right now I'm just running it on my local computer, and I opened it up to the internet through a domain name so that at least it can be used by my audience initially, and so I can shake out some other bugs. Yeah, and the third mode is what I call turn-based mode. So that's like games where you could have teams of people. So you could have team 1 of 3 people and team 2 of 3 people, which would be like Family Feud, right? So you could have people get an answer wrong. You got 3 tries on each team. So I'm actually been using a lot of AI to help me figure out the logic of how to make this platform work in a trivia mode, a text-based mode, and a turn-based mode without having to like re-engineer a whole bunch of stuff. And I got to tell you, AI has been really amazing in that way. And as a matter of fact, this project, I didn't write a single line of code. I just kind of described, I spent about 2-3 weeks just writing documentation so that I feed that into the AI, and I describe the project to the AI. And then I said, okay, let's start building this feature and that feature, naming it by what I described it, and discuss the plan before it starts writing things. That's the key, is to discuss before you let it just rip. But yeah, I got, in 3 weeks, I got this basic proof of concept working with just me. But if I were doing this, say 2 years ago when there was no AI, it would have easily taken a junior coder like me, and probably maybe 2-3 juniors, depending on their talent, probably 4 months of coding, and probably a good month and a half just to do the planning, just to figure out what you're going to do. So using AI tools, I was able to do all of that in 3 weeks. So let's just say, now I know why my former boss never calls me for coding work, number 1. And 2, why I'm making the same money I did in 1996 when I graduated college as a computer programmer. So there you have it. Yeah, part-time. My part-time job extended out to full-time. So I'm even making half that. But I'm not complaining. I'm glad to have it. Truly blessed, glad to have the job, and fun group of people. Oh, okay. Let's see here. We got Night Owl coming in. I'm not used to there only being a 2-second delay. I'm used to it being like 10 seconds. So I'm usually thinking I have to talk longer. Let's see here. Let's see. Night Owl saying, I have been studying for life and health insurance tests to be a licensed insurance agent in Texas. This app could work too. Yes, definitely. That was the idea that I had with this Night Owl, is that I could white label this and go after different verticals. And because I'm very familiar with IT and all the different disciplines, I thought that would be my first bet. And also all the students that are in my class, they're from all over the world. And there's like hundreds of students in their current and student body. And I'm actually building a presentation right now where I'm going to record me doing this. Not tonight's live stream, because they don't care about Star Trek trivia. But I'll be recording this and then presenting it to the CEO of the school, and see if they'll bite. So, maybe I can make a little more cheddar on the side doing this too. My plan eventually too is to actually fully automate this. And I don't mean AI, like running everything and making the questions, all that. I mean, certainly that's a given, but that would take a lot of testing, a lot of security, and a lot of planning to do that. But what I'm talking about is actually spinning up separate channels that just do the certifications and then just do the streaming automatically. And again, with AI, I've been doing a lot of research, and I actually have a pretty good grasp of how I can actually write the code to stream just from the command line. No OBS like this, no software, just literally one command on a box. Pretty crazy. So theoretically, I could spin up, dozens of live streams being run independently. Let's see. And this got another one from Night Owl. Thanks for sticking with me for so long, Night Owl. I appreciate it. I actually, in 2 weeks, will be the 1-year anniversary of this channel, October 17th. So that's a Friday. So on the 18th, hopefully this Google will be fully copacetic with what I'm doing here, and then we'll all be able to to do the trivia, because I actually have some other themes planned around the trivia mode. Let's see. He says, if Trivial Pursuit is for sale, you could get the rights and you could approach Milton Bradley or whoever owns them now. Yeah, that's another thing too. I didn't really talk about, but I've been going around buying card games and studying them and how they work to build the turn-based system, and also to figure out how I can make graphics. So just like I have on the Hale 9000 here, I used AI to make this opposite world. I still struggle with that. After a year of doing this, you think I'd be better. I used AI to make all these graphics, the textures, and then I laid it out inside OBS. But the next phase of this is to actually have it actually run inside of a web browser and decouple everything, because what I'm doing with the trivia, this is actually running in a web browser. And so if you know anything about live streaming, one of the sources that you can put in is a browser. Okay, so enough jibber jabber. I've caught you up on what I'm doing. Let's talk a little about AI slop. Let's pull up this video here. I've got a video from a channel that I really love, which, by the way, oh, excuse me, gurgle, gurgle. Hold on here. I lost my place. Give me 1 second. Too many tabs. I'm out of practice. Here we go. All right. So AI slop, y'all. AI slop. There's an epidemic going on right now. So I've Cold Fusion, by the way, fair use YouTube. My commentary, my satire, and educational edutainment bent on this video is transforming the content, which makes it fair use. Okay, so I did my bit there. But yeah, this is about a 15-minute video, and I want to show you a couple of things that Cold Fusion's put together. And this is probably the best video I've seen in a while that basically touches on everything I've been talking about, but connects all the dots in a way that's just really visually entertaining and incredible. And already we're going to start off with drive-through jobs. All right, so let's dig in, and of course I will pause for fair use YouTube and make some comments as we go along. Thanks for coming out, everybody, tonight. Good to see you. Here we go.
Fast food chain Taco Bell introduced artificial intelligence at over 500 locations in the United States. The aim was to reduce mistakes and speed up orders, but in some cases, AI delivered just the opposite.
So I want to just pause this real quick. Take a look at that number. This is a news story that I almost made a video on, but something else happened. But yeah, Taco Bell rethinks AI drive-through after man orders 18,000 waters. So this is a perfect example of how agentic AI, when you don't put guardrails, it doesn't know the difference between 18,000, 8 waters, 1 water. It just goes, okay, yeah, we can do that. Let's order it. So you got to tell the AI not to be so gullible. But actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I did do a video on, yes, here we go. AI is killing entry-level jobs. And it's a big problem. And so I talk about the career ladder, but there's a Wiener Schnitzel that deployed AI. And I talk a lot about the issues around guardrails and security. But anyway, I squirreled. Let's get back to it.
Like this frustrated customer.
And what will you drink with that? Oh my God. I want a large Mountain Dew. And your drink?
McDonald's drive-thrus also tried AI, but decided to scrap it because it was too unreliable. One person had bacon added to their ice cream in error, and another had hundreds of dollars worth of chicken nuggets mistakenly added to their order.
I'd eat all that.
As for Taco Bell, the fiasco has caused them to rethink their use of AI. Their Chief Technology Officer, Dane Matthews, told the Wall Street Journal in regards to deploying the voice AI system, quote, "Sometimes it lets me down, but sometimes it really surprises me," end quote. And what he said is the very crux of consumer generative AI today.
Yeah, basically he just described Sometimes it surprises me. Sometimes, it lets me down. That's hallucinations. So I've been talking about that for quite a while now. Hallucinations are getting fewer and farther in between, but as he'll talk about later in the video, the AI is technically hallucinating all the time. So we'll get more into that. Fair use, YouTube.
It works most of the time, but about a few % of the time, it just gets things wrong. But where does this all lead? A recent MIT report found that after surveying 150 business leaders and 350 employees, just 5% of integrated AI pilots are extracting millions in value, while the vast majority remain stuck with no measurable profit and loss impact.
It's actually worse than that. Last year, there was a study that came out that said 79% of AI projects failed. So in other words, they didn't return, or to use this term, no measurable profit and loss impact, right? Caused more problems than it was worth. And then this year's report that came out, it jumped up to 96%, I believe. So it's getting worse. But this time they measured that there was actually a 6-month pilot where they went back and made sure and tested everything, and they still jacked it up. All right, fair use, YouTube.
In other words, AI implementation fails in 95% of the cases.
95.
The market was spooked by these findings, and shares in Nvidia, the $4 trillion company whose chips power the AI boom, dropped by 3.5%, while Palantir fell by 9% off the back of the news.
Yes, so NVIDIA is the big chip manufacturer that's making all the AI chips. There's also Tensor, which is another type of chip technology, which Google invented, but I'm not sure who manufactures that. But NVIDIA includes that technology in alongside their stuff. And then, of course, we have Palantir here, who's come up quite frequently in the news. And I will show you a video that I talked about that. If you want to learn more about that, it was, let's see, it was before after hippie hair. Here we go. Right here. Big Brother 2.0, AI and the master database to rule us all. So I was making a joke about Gandalf and his Palantir, although he didn't turn evil in the Lord of the Rings, but you get the reference. So if you want to learn more about that, I go into a little more detail about some of the things that the Fed is doing with AI to monitor us. And speaking of monitoring us, I'm going to make a video to expand more on Google. It came out in the news that Google, they finally admitted that they were controlling speech through censorship through their AIs. And I've been talking about this on the channel, and interestingly enough, those videos got almost pitiful views. Let me see if I can find, there's one here. Yes. So there's this one video that I've got right here. Back when I was doing channel updates, I talked about YouTube having a series of knobs that they tune to control speech. That one was very interesting. And that was, 6 months ago. And when I was still doing Red Pill, and so I was a little more suspicious of being throttled and all that. But yeah, now the algorithms just changed for everybody. Everybody's getting jerked around. And then there was another one that I did where I talked about how the Department of Defense actually created tools that they gave out to all the social media platforms, newspapers worldwide, where they used it to control the narrative. And that's why things got super, super weird during the pandemic. And it was because of that technology. It's in here somewhere. But anyway, you can look it up later on. So yes, Lily, I know. I was one before. When I first started my channel very early on, I talked a lot of Red Pill stuff. But it wasn't like, super evil or anything like that. It was more of like, I'm just checking out. I'm done. I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm limiting my interaction with society, says the guy who live streams. But anyway, yeah. And true too, Night Owl. Yes, Google finally admitted that they were doing evil, but don't forget, they removed that statement from their terms of service or whatever it was they had when they first started, like do no evil. That disappeared like 10 years ago, I think. But anyway, yeah, I hear what you're getting at. All right, so let's continue on here with the Palantir's evil plans.
It all sounds pretty heavy, but this was just a reaction to the headline, because as you dig deeper into what was actually said in the report, the picture isn't as clear-cut as AI simply failing everywhere. A few episodes ago, I talked about the current crisis with new graduate jobs. A large part of that was the AI threat. It's true, and happening in some entry-level jobs, especially in the creative fields. I did caveat in that episode that current AI systems still get a lot wrong, but will improve in the future.
That is a true statement, and I've just seen it, in the year that I've been really using AI heavily. But just going back briefly to what he was saying, college graduates are just getting absolutely obliterated right now. Partly because AI can do a lot of the entry-level work. And yes, I'm pausing a lot because there's a lot of information in this video. But yeah, oh, my nose is whistling. That's funny. Anyway, the entry-level jobs, a lot of them are going away because a lot of the drudgery jobs, basic jobs, repetitive jobs that are on a computer are already super, I don't want to say easily done by AI, but with someone with the right capability, yeah, pretty much. But to fully automate them, no. It's more like one person doing all the jobs of the interns is more like what that is. So maybe you'll get one intern does all the work of what used to be all the other interns, or maybe like a medium level employee that goes, I'll just treat my AIs like juniors and have them do all that. So that's kind of more like what it is. So we're not quite there with full automation. But in next week's live stream, I'm going to give you a pretty big update on what's going on with robotics so that you can kind of see that, the trades, sure, maybe they're safe for a little while, but nipping at the heels there too. All right, so let's get back to the video. Fair use YouTube, transformative work, let's go.
But today, let's explore that fact a bit more deeply. What if generative consumer AI continues to underperform in businesses for years to come? In this episode, we'll look at how AI is actually performing once put into the position of taking people's jobs. To summarize the sentiment of this episode, it's basically this. Consumer generative AI will revolutionize global productivity eventually. But as for now, it's possibly in a bubble.
Yeah, we're in a bubble.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Yeah,
so
you should subscribe.
Let's lay it out straight. AI has some legitimate use cases and works well in non-critical areas that don't require 100% precision. Robots, live translation, and even some prototype website builders like Lovable are some examples.
Yeah, so, maybe he'll show it. But Lovable is a way for you to basically tell the AI, hey, build me an app, build me a website. And it's actually pretty good if you have basic design understanding, or even very little. But if you're like super advanced, it's shit. But most people, it's good enough. That's the thing about AI, is that it's good enough for most people. And that's what a lot of these CEOs are kind of landing on. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just have it replace customer support, just to keep people busy on the phone and make it look like we're doing something. But it's customer support shit now. I hate it. I hate AI. Hate it for that. It's terrible. And they know it. Oh, let's see. Lisa, what are you saying? Oh yeah, to unblock your bog. Yeah, I just have a stick for that. All right, so let's get back to it. Fair use, YouTube.
But the sentiment is clear. Most people online find it annoying. But that aside, there's a fundamental problem with current generative AI. Let me explain. You see, everything we call artificial intelligence today was built on the findings of a 2017 paper from Google. That paper provided a way for AI to focus on different parts of an input sequence simultaneously and determine the relevance of each word to every other word. This innovation, called a transformer neural network, allowed researchers, computer scientists, and later companies to change the world. But herein lies the fundamental problem. With this method of transformer neural networks, it turns out by determining the relevance of each word and predicting the next word, it just makes up stuff. Essentially, it doesn't know what it's saying. We call this problem hallucinations.
All right, so just real quick. So a lot of people, so you heard transform a lot. So that's where the T comes from in Chat GPT, right? Transformer. And part of that transformation process, it's literally guessing one word after another. It's predicting. So that's how it's able, when you watch ChatGPT and you see that cursor move across the screen like this, that's the transformation process. It's literally guessing each word as it goes along. So that's sometimes the prediction goes off track, and that's where you get the hallucinations. And I am oversimplifying, but just so you have a visual aid, that's what is happening. All right, so let's continue on here. This is great visual explanation for this. Here we go.
Write up patient documents, fill in patient information, summarize meetings, or...
I apologize. I played and I didn't show you. So let me start over. Okay, here we go.
It has real-world consequences. Picture this. You're a business that decided to replace its staff with AI to write up patient documents, fill in patient information, summarize meetings, or do some basic scheduling. But as time goes on, to your horror, you realize that the AI system makes up 10% of everything that it delivers.
Yep.
But the real problem is, you don't know what it's made up and you don't know what's accurate. So you or your staff manually have to go back and check everything.
And this is not just like office stuff. Like even when I'm coding with the computer, I'm spending a little bit of my time mitigating that 10%, but still 90% of the work is good. So like I said, good enough. And that's, for some things, 90% accuracy is pretty damn good. All right, so here we go. Continuing on.
This ends up just being extra work for the remaining staff, and ultimately is a waste of time. It sounds stupid, but this is exactly what's happening. Now, the following are Reddit comments taken from those in the workforce who had to take the brunt of upper management thinking that blindly implementing AI was a good idea. Quote, "My company paid for some AI scheduling software a few months ago, thinking that it could free up the accounts team so that they could continue their hiring freeze in that department. Now the accounts team is having to do extra work making sure the program isn't messing everything up. Not to mention our production team that never had to worry about schedules is double/triple checking everything.
That's because they tried to
finally
automate
scrapping
it
it for some basic scheduling software. And same experience here. Products sold and demonstrated to be a lifesaver. Ultimately, the staff that used to do the work spend all their time making sure the AI doesn't screw up and help train it."
Yeah, so just notice that there, well, I'll come back to that. So yeah, this is what happens when companies, they think they can fully automate everything. Can't do it. AI is just not good enough to do it yet. It's better as an assistant, a force multiplier. So like I wouldn't screw in a screw by hand unless I absolutely have to, because I have a drill with a screw adapter on it. Bzz, bzz, done, no problem. Same thing with AI. It just extends your ability. That's where it's really good. But these companies, they're trying to fully automate things, and they're finding out that 10% could be, it compounds as well. So the longer you let it run, 10% becomes 100%. All right. So there was another thing in here I wanted to point out. So you'll see ultimately the staff that used to do the work spend all their time making sure AI doesn't screw up and help train it. So a lot of the things with these tools is that when you use them, they're actually using what you're doing, your prompts, how you're talking to it, what you're doing with it. They're using that information to make the AIs better. So if you are putting intellectual property or information that you don't want getting out on the web or getting into a brain somewhere that could eventually be extracted out somewhere else, because remember, generative AI is just a big blender, right? You just puts all kinds of pieces in, blends everything up, and then it predicts, oh, this piece, then this next piece, and this next piece, and that next piece, right? So it's just combining pieces from all over the place to make the final result. Yeah, this is something else. This is very, very, very observant, Lily, because this is something that we talk about a lot in my with my mentor. is that there's going to be two jobs in the future. We're going to be orchestrators and adjudicators. So we'll be orchestrating lots of different robots, and then we'll be judging and course correcting. Maybe adjudicators, not the exact right word, but yeah, those are going to be like the two more common jobs when it comes to using AI as the force multiplier for the jobs that we can use it as a drill or mechanical screwdriver. But for things where they have full automation, different story. And the automation length is getting longer and longer as we go along. Right now, I think we're only like 3 or 4 hours is the longest the best AI agents can go without human intervention. But they're saying like in a few years that they'll be able to go an entire month. So not good. Oh yes, and the other thing that I want to talk about, or the point is that with the automation, it's not just software, but inside robotics. So physical AI, robotic arms to full robots, or what'd you say, bog unblockers, all that stuff. Coming soon to a home near you. But yeah, so my point is what I want to get at is, if there is a setting in any software that you're using that has AI, turn off or turn on the privacy mode. I don't know if it really works, but at least they tell you, yeah, we're using your usage, what you're typing in, and the results that you're getting out, and that interactivity between the 3 stages to train our AIs and make it better. So yeah, if you're working on intellectual property or anything that's sensitive, or you're, revealing secrets, I would just be very careful about that. And, maybe someday I'll show you all how to actually run your own AI on your own computer that's not connected to anything, to give you more privacy. So something that we can look at. If you're interested in that, just put a 1 in the chat or whatever, and I'll consider it. All right, let's continue onward. Fair use YouTube. And let's continue on. Transformative work.
Also, working in a medical/clinical setting, we really don't trust the new file sorting and labeling system. Names, date of birth, insurance data has to be perfect.
Lives are at stake.
AI is less than that. It fails at gathering proper demographic information and assigning relevant tasks. Sometimes it thinks the doctor is the patient or doesn't know where the document was faxed from, etc.
Oh, that's not
And yet
good.
another user states that AI was good at taking notes from Zoom.
So, okay, I know I'm pausing a lot, but this is important. So getting the doctor confused from the patient, that's just shitty data. That right there, there's no excuse for that. That's just bad training. That takes a lot of work. This is another thing that companies are losing their money on. If you want to sound smart at Thanksgiving, check this out. Tell this story or talk about it like this. A lot of companies are losing their ass because they don't know how to clean the data, make the data better for the AI to learn and to reduce its focus on what needs to be done. So that's a huge problem. So a lot of companies figure, well, we'll just throw everything at it. And sometimes they don't obscure the identity of the people. And we've seen in cybersecurity incidents in my school where a hospital deployed an AI. You'll like this one, Night Owl. Deployed an AI where they anonymized all the information about the patients. Because if you work in any medical capacity at all, you know that the patient's identity is private. You have to protect the identity of the patient. And so what they do when they store the data in the database, they, for lack of a better term, they obscure who the patient is in the database. But because the company that trained the AI included billing information, which had not only the credit cards, but they also had the name, address, phone number, everything. And when a cyber specialist came in and asked the AI, hey, here is an x-ray, can you tell me who this is, just as a generic test? It goes, yeah, sure, it's Bob over there in Biscayne, and yeah, this is his address. You want me to bill his credit card for the previous amount? Yes, Night Owl. HIPAA. It's really important in medical security, data security, network communications. Big, 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 big. So if you violate that, there's some hefty fines around that. And there's similar privacy laws around finance, credit card transactions, and e-commerce. So there's all kinds of regulations. And that's the other thing is a lot of people that program these AIs, they don't know about these regulations. They're like, yeah, I'll just throw the data in there. Nobody knows any better. And then when someone that does know better and tests the AI, they can reverse engineer get around the anonymity. So pretty scary stuff. But anyway, just something to be aware of. Let's get back to it. Jacob Squirreled, fair use, transformer to work YouTube. Love ya. All right, here we go. Cold Fusion. If you haven't subscribed to their channel, I recommend it. They have a lot of really good documentaries on technology and other societal problems. Pretty good stuff. All right, less jibber jabber, more video.
Zoom meetings, but would make up 5 to 20% of the content, even when hand-fed the transcripts of the meeting. Those who looked over the AI-generated summary realized that some of what was written wasn't even said.
Yep.
All of these disasters make sense. LLMs predict the next word statistically, but they'll never tell you when it doesn't know the answer, or if it can't understand something.
Or if it's lying.
There's many such stories of company regrets after rushing into half-baked AI solutions. A report suggests that 55% of companies regret replacing people with AI. This bank, for example, who fired staff to install an AI chatbot that was so bad, they begged for their old humans back.
We're going to see a lot more of that. Yeah, they're going to mention Klarna. Klarna had a big customer support fiasco. Another company who, like Lovable, that you prompt the AI to say, hey, make a website. It was Replit. They internally, their own AI deleted their entire freaking database. So don't give your AI full administrative access to your data. That's just fucking stupid. But anyway, let's get back to it. Whoops.
The example of Klarna. 2 years ago, they implemented a hiring freeze and began to replace their human staff with AI. By 2024, their headcount had fallen from 3,800 to 2,000. But lo and behold, their customers wanted to speak to actual humans. Klarna said that its AI chatbots.
But just think about that. It took 1,800 people, 1,800 humans to deliver good customer service. No wonder these companies are clamoring for this stuff. I never made that connection before. Sorry. Continue onward. Bad Klarna CEO. Bad. Okay, let's go. Fair use, YouTube.
Perform the work of 800 employees, but the company admits that their service quality and customer satisfaction have dropped, and they lament that human interaction is still needed.
Yeah.
On replacing people with AI, the publication Fortune notes, quote, "Not only is it short-sighted, it's fundamentally bad business.
Yes.
The companies cutting people today in the name of AI will be the ones playing catch-up."
Look at that look. I've had that look many a time by many a managers. That's why I don't put any tchotchkes on my desk, yo. But seriously, yeah. So again, just to remind you, this is because a lot of these companies, they thought they could automate everything, and where AI shines right now, it's as a drill. All right, just want to keep pointing that out. So if you ever go to a job interview and you want to sound smart and they ask you about AI, drop some of your boys' nuggets of wisdom, and they'll be impressed. Because a lot of people don't know this stuff. So, Lisa, yes, thank you for the one. I'll consider it. I need more than one though, because it takes a lot of work to set these up. And if you have an older computer, might be a little bit of a problem. So, if you have a computer within the last couple of years, maybe 3 years, you should be okay. But anyway, let's continue onward.
Up tomorrow. There's no doubt that AI is excellent at doing more with less. It speeds up processes, cuts down repetitive work, and buys back time. But AI on its own cannot create the next generation of products and services.
Yes.
End quote.
So again, I know I'm pausing, but this is really, really huge. Oh, Lily, yeah, you have no computer. Well, you're safe from Skynet, I'll tell you that. But I assume you have a mobile device. But yeah, you do need a computer to run your own AI. But anyway, it probably just could be good to know how to do it. So I'll show you the pieces parts that you need. Anyway, so what was he saying? I lost my train of thought. I scrolled. I have to go back. I'm sorry.
Cannot create the next generation of products and services.
Yeah. So this is another thing I talk about a lot, where AI, because of the way LLMs are designed, they cannot innovate like humans, because the data that's fed into them, just think like a big spreadsheet with millions and millions, or actually billions of columns to describe the data that's going into their brain. They only recognize patterns they've seen before, which means they've only seen problems that have been solved before. They can't be shown a problem that's never been solved and figure it out. At least I don't think so. I've never seen it, but excuse me. Pardon me, coffee's kicking in. So that's what he's talking about, where AI cannot innovate. It can't create new things. But because it's this great blender in the sky, it's combining ideas from other things together that make it look like it's creating something new or something net new, but that's not really what's happening. It's an elaborate copyright theft mechanism, basically. But all right, I just wanted to point that out. So that's another little tidbit of information that makes you sound smart at Thanksgiving. But anyway, let's continue on. Fair use, YouTube. Let's go.
End quote. So on Cold Fusion, we try to be thorough here. So it has to be said that all of these failures aren't the full story. There are indeed companies that are extremely successful at using artificial intelligence.
Very tiny amount.
Now, even though the MIT paper said that 95% of companies who implemented generative AI failed in said implementation, the same MIT paper states, quote, "Some large companies, pilots, and younger startups are really excelling with generative AI." They mean startups led by 19 or 20-year-olds. They, quote, "have seen revenues jump from 0 to 20 million in a year. It's because they pick one pain point, execute it well, and partner smartly with companies who use their tools."
Yeah.
End quote. So how companies adopt AI is crucial. For example, purchasing AI tools from specialized vendors and building partnerships succeed 67% of the time, while internal builds succeed only 1/3 as often.
Yeah.
This goes to show that you can't just slap AI everywhere.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, companies that are trying to like take all their processes and systems and AI wash them, put AI on the tin. That's where we get the AI slop from. Well, not necessarily. But using off-the-shelf pre-made tools. One thing my mentor talks a lot about is like, don't be the first person to use the shiny new tool. And he isn't talking about AI necessarily, but be the 10,000th person. And that way you've got all the security and the bugs and everything worked out of it. But anyway, so a lot of these companies, they're trying to reinvent the wheel, and they're getting chewed up.
Everywhere and expect it to work. It needs thought in its implementation, and also depends on the specificity of the AI tools in question.
Project management.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's still early days for AI, and it'll be naive to think that it'll stay the same forever. All it would take is another groundbreaking paper, a new underlying neural network architecture,
Yes.
and everything could change again. This could mean...
So yes, I'm pausing often because this is huge. So you're probably hearing a lot in the news, a lot of hype around AI, and more specifically, artificial general intelligence, AGI. And the fundamental technology that we have now, LLMs, which is the narrow AI that we have, ChatGPT, things like that, and all the older varieties, there's no way they're going to get artificial general intelligence from that. We don't have the technology for it yet. So that has to be invented, right? And, if you make this super smart, intelligent thing and we still have hallucinations, we're screwed. So, but yeah, so anybody's telling you that AGI is coming, soon or within a couple years, no. Unless somebody has a lab somewhere where they invented a completely new brain architecture or whatever kind of architecture, we're not going to have the AGI, which then could give way to SI, artificial superintelligence, which now we're talking like Skynet, orchestrating humans and governing society and running the whole shebang. So we're way off from that. All right. So I just want to assuage any fears you have because we can't even get the damn thing to stop pretending, stop hallucinating. All right. Fair use, YouTube.
In another giant leap forward that none of us are expecting. But in the meantime, it's uncomfortable territory. So what happens?
Yeah, I got wrecked in the bubble. Y'all, I got wrecked.
Like the steam engine which sparked the Industrial Revolution of the late 1700s, the internet is changing everything it touches. And at the cutting edge of the revolution is Wall Street.
In the dot-com bubble during the mid-90s, everyone who simply put a .com at the end of their company name saw massive valuations because investors who didn't understand the technology saw them as the future. In reality, these companies had no solid way of making a profit or didn't even have a business plan. When the broader market realized that it was all a smokescreen, the sector crashed. Most companies went out of business and only a handful made it out.
Okay, so I talk about this a lot. The phoenix rising from the ashes, and those are the companies that we have today, like Amazon, eBay, even Yahoo to a degree. I hate to admit it, but they're still like a multi-billion-dollar company, 1-point-something billion dollars. But what was different about back then, yes, we had hype, but a lot of people were just making stuff up. You know, our website can do this, it can do that. So we had all the hype, but with AI, this stuff is real. The tool, it works. It works. Gets 10% stuff wrong, but it works. The difference this time around is that it's very, very, very expensive to operate. And that's where the companies are losing their money. They're losing their ass. And then, of course, just like in the .com era, because they were lying and doing things, or the hype around the hype of what it could do, they were damaging their brand. They were damaging their relationships with their customers, ruining trust. Same thing's happening with AI, especially around customer support, Taco Bell drive-through and stuff like that. So you're seeing a lot of similar patterns. So that's why they correlate the .com bubble to the AI bubble, and also the massive amount of debt, which Cold Fusion's going to talk about here in a second. So let me get back over there. Fair use, YouTube. Here we go.
And a giants today. So let's compare that to the AI wave of today. The long-awaited release of ChatGPT 5 was a disappointment, and many users even thought the previous version was better, and this caused OpenAI to scramble. In addition, the company was also caught blatantly fudging the performance numbers in some very strange graphs. Incremental rather than revolutionary was the tone.
Yeah.
Soon, Meta would announce that it's downsizing its AI division, and this comes
Yep, sensual. That was the video I did on AI having sensual conversations with children. But also too, he was mentioning, you know what, I'll say that for later. I'm sorry. Let's continue on. I'm just stopping for fair use too. Love you, YouTube.
amongst a growing chorus of analysts saying that AI is heading towards, if not, is already in a bubble. And next, we have the massive valuations and spending.
Yes,
NVIDIA H100s, the GPUs that power the artificial intelligence boom, are about $30,000 to $40,000 each. Google
You don't want to
has
touch those kids, you
26,000
burn your
of them,
hand.
and they've managed to create AlphaFold, Gemini, VO3, and more. But Meta, on the other hand, has 600,000 NVIDIA H100s.
Wow.
And while they do have the open source Llama LLM, it isn't discovering new science like Google's AlphaFold for 23 times the compute.
Yeah, so this is classic bubble behavior. Not to be outspent, Meta just basically went like multitudes more with their chips to run more AI, and they're not even like how often do people hear people talking about Llama or Meta? Plus, they lost their shirt on the virtual reality thing they tried to push a couple years ago, 3 years ago. So yeah, I don't know that Facebook is going to make it, but this is classic bubble behavior. There's only going to be a few survivors. Here we go.
To give you an idea of how extreme this is all getting, AI itself has caused a 4% increase in electricity use in the US.
Yep, the next
Morgan
energy
Stanley
crisis.
states that data center investment will reach $3 trillion over the next 3 years in preparation for AI use. And of course, that's heavily fueled by debt.
There
The
you go.
belief is that AI will cut costs by 40%, and that should add $16 trillion to the S&P.
Yeah, so that projection, they're assuming that the chips will get better and you use less electricity and run more efficiently. So that's where they get that 40%. But that still doesn't mitigate, or well, I don't know what the right word is, but he was mentioning like all the huge multi-trillion-dollar investment in data centers. They're just building data centers like crazy, left and right to fuel more AI. And I believe the projection is that we're about half of where we need to be in energy production for electricity to run the projected amount of AI. And my sense is that it's actually way more than that. It's not twice, it's way more. And I want to show you another video I made because it was actually really good. It was one of my early car videos. I think it was will AI start the next energy crisis? Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Will AI spark the next energy crisis? That's a really good high overview of what the problems are with green energy, solar, wind, all that, why you can't use it, and what they're planning to do to get around all the aging infrastructure. And plus you get to go for a ride because I'm driving my car while I'm talking this. I almost hit somebody, I think, when I was making this. That's why I don't drive my car while I make videos anymore. But anyway, let's get back to it.
But as we've just seen at the beginning of this episode, according to that MIT study, that could be very unrealistic. So this could be the future if AI doesn't improve massively soon. Number 1, business executives and business owners will get frustrated with hallucinations, useless solutions, bad code, and a very poor return on investment. Number 2, a lot of the AI gurus like Sam Altman will have to admit that artificial general intelligence isn't going to be achieved by LLMs, and they're essentially a dead end. Number 3,
for AGI,
the general populace begins to get sick of LLMs, and we're already seeing it. The absolute flood of AI slop, the hallucinations, AI agreeing with what users say, sometimes driving them insane.
There you go. So AI psychosis, I've talked about this a couple of videos ago, but yeah, about AI slop. How many of you find yourself watching like AI channels, where the voice is AI generated, a lot of the videos generated? I'm just curious if you like those or not. I'll use images for my like AI for my thumbnails, and every once in a while I'll generate videos, but I don't know. I just, after a while, I don't know. I get tired of watching those, and sometimes they're just clickbait anyway. Just kind of curious what your experience has been, because everybody's algorithm is different when they watch YouTube. All right, fair use YouTube.
Number 4, in seeing this, the venture capital finally dries up, and LLMs become just too expensive to justify unless there's a massive increase in efficiency.
The cost to run OpenAI's data centers, all the pipes and guts and things that keep AI running, is about $40 billion a year. Their revenues right now are only 15 to 20 billion.
And finally, number 5, after a long winter, new implementations come around that truly live up to the hype promised by the first wave. So just like the dot-com bubble, there's going to be a few winners that rise from the ashes. But if or when it crashes, from here, we see the true artificial intelligence companies that last the distance.
Yeah, here we're getting into
So to finish off this episode, let me end with this. I've talked about this many times in my older episodes, but take a look at this diagram. It's called the Gartner Hype Cycle, and it describes the typical progression of the infiltration of new technologies into society. So where do you think we are? The technology trigger? The peak of inflated expectations? The trough of disillusionment?
We're going to that.
The slope of enlightenment? Or the...
So yeah, plateau of productivity. So this is what happened during the dot-com. Same thing. Dot-com boom and then bust. So, internet, web, that's the technology trigger. Then all the hype, everybody's talking a bunch of game. Hey, this is all good. Let's, rah, throw in your money. And it's like, well, we're not making money. Well, the emails, and then a guy's like, oh shit, we lost all of our money. Sorry, investors, we're done. But we kind of learned our lessons. We're getting, but we survived. I'm Amazon. We survived. And, we can make money. We can make money doing just the 2 or 3 things that we know worked for us instead of trying to do 20 things. And then another technology triggers and starts over again. And maybe Amazon gets knocked out, although I doubt it with those dudes. But this is classic. So yeah, I think we're heading down into here. And it became more evident to me when there was all this hype up here about AGI is coming. And then as you was talking about earlier in the video, where it's like, the current technology we have to make ChatGPT work, LLMs, there's no way that we can make that as the basis of artificial general intelligence, which I hope that they don't get to too soon, because we're just trying to get used to this shit we got now. All right, so let's see here. We got a message from Lily. Let's see. I'll go to Big Head, Potato Head, with my glasses and mustache. All right. Let's see. Lily says, a friend of mine sends me his AI art, like lions parachuting, etc. Good grief. It just sends I just send a thumbs back. I have nothing to say. This is like my dad. He's silent generation. When he got good at email, enough to send email. He's still on Facebook. I don't want that dude on YouTube. It's going to be bad. But yeah, he's always emailing me memes from 10 years ago. It's like, Dad, this meme is so old. But yeah, I'm going to talk about some AI that was used to actually scam my dad. That's really scary. Really, really, really scary. He earlier this year calls me up and tells me that, I'm at the UPS store and I'm wiring $10,000 to some guy over in New Jersey. I'm like, why? He says, yeah, because my computer broke. And I'm like, why does it cost you $10,000? Think of what you're doing, Dad. And he goes, yeah, that does sound like bullshit. Fuck this guy. But turns out it was some people in, I think it was Sri Lanka or Bombay or something. And he recorded a little bit of them on the phone, and they had no accents. They were using AI to remove their accents. Crazy. But anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about here, the Gartner hype cycle. So yeah, I think we're coming into the trough of disillusionment. So let's continue on.
Technologies into society. So where do you think we are? The technology trigger? The peak of inflated expectations? The trough of disillusionment? The slope of enlightenment? Or the plateau of productivity? Feel free to comment down below.
And they'll never admit this out loud.
So where to from here? Well, Sam Altman and all the other AI leaders should focus their efforts on fixing the hallucinations. Once again, a different neural network architecture could be discovered, one that fixes hallucinations. Or perhaps it could just be fixed manually, either way, ushering in a new boom. But that all being said, and that's the funny thing about AI, the point is, with AI, nobody knows the future. So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Do you think we're in a bubble and a crash is imminent? Or do you think the next AI innovation is just around the corner?
All right, so there you have it. Cold Fusion Television. Great channel. Lots of good documentaries. In fact, if I had more time, I would make a lot more videos like this. I do have a couple that I did early on, and actually as a treat on the anniversary of this channel, I'm going to play one of those. So you get to see Jacob in his formative days trying to be a documentarian. It's actually a video that I made on AI messing up human anatomy in image generation. It's actually pretty funny. But anyway, stay tuned for that. I forgot to announce that if you are new to the channel, you do need to be a subscriber, because I'm going to bring up the AI characters. So let's let's set the mood. So while I bring up the Hale 9000, I'll play the intro and I'll be right back.
It's full of stars.
All right, welcome to the Discovery for copyright reasons. So yeah, in the box below, you can see the command that you can put into the live chat, exclamation point, letter H, number 9, space followed by your question. Only 2 things that I ask of you is don't put quotes in your question. Keep it PG-13, well actually 3 things, and no emojis. So if you have a question for the Hale 9000, go ahead and put it in. Tonight's live stream is a little different because I actually shortened the delay. So actually I'm only ahead of you by 2 seconds. So it'll be interesting to see how these AI characters work with this shorter delay. And now that I think about it, I didn't test my AI characters tonight. So this could all totally blow up in my face. So we'll come back to that if you put a question in. And of course, we have the 8-Ball Oracle. All right, I don't know. He's getting a little too friendly with that 8-ball. All right, so the command for the 8-Ball Oracle is down below in the box there. Bang 8-ball, space followed by the question. And of course, same rules apply. All right. So we'll come back to that momentarily. And in the meantime, I do have another video. Let me get that ready for you. Okay, so I thought it'd be kind of fun. I always like to go back into BBC archives and look at, things in the 70s and 80s, what people thought of what life was going to be like, or the problems with the technology that they are using at that time, or the new innovations. And it always bears out that predictions are usually pretty close, but the way they describe it is not quite there, so it's kind of funny. And then also too, we have the way they describe the problems and all their fears, almost 99% of the time are identical, but again, the way they describe it is different. So I thought that we would go back and take a look at 1989. And the BBC made this documentary on what they thought houses would look like by the year 2020. And they are smart, but they're wired in weird ways. So let's take a look at what the BBC thought was, what is a house going to be like in 2020, and is it worth all the trouble? All right, fair use YouTube. This is transformative work with my commentary, satire, and educational bent. So here we go. Metropolis.
What are going to be the biggest changes in our homes by 2020? Will the house of the future protect the environment? And what new technology do researchers think we'll be living with? Well, we've been talking to some of the people who've been thinking about the home of the future.
Ain't gonna be that hair.
Christine McNulty.
I started the Home of the Future project to find out what people will want from their homes. They'll want all the benefits of modern technology, but without all this cluttered and complex gadgetry that we have today.
Minimalism.
They'll want homes that work for them. By 2020, all of this will be possible. We'll have things under control without all of these knobs and buttons. And what's more, the technology itself will be embedded in the very fabric of the house and its furnishings.
I'd
So
say,
the
yeah.
idea is, once all the clutter of technology has gone, you'll be able to furnish your rooms in any style you like. You won't actually be able to see the technology, but it will be there, doing its job without getting in your way.
That means the lights automatically switch off and on as you walk between rooms. And the home learns how bright you like them. A simple command gives you music.
So there you go. The house of the future is going to gaslight you. Hey, computer, are the lights dimmer? Why no, Jacob. They're just the way you like it. Okay. All right. Pausing for fair use. Continue.
Perhaps piped in from a sound library. Bark, please. And no more PowerPoints. Plugs become pads, picking up power from anywhere on the wall.
Yeah, that's safe. Okay. All right. So yeah, magnetic inductors and all of that. The amount of wattage that has to go through a magnet to power that hair dryer is like a fire hazard, bro. But yeah, we do have wireless charging, so that we had that. We got the smart lights. Let's see. Yeah, clap on, clap off. You know, Night Owl, I begged my mom for that. And I got it for Christmas, and I'd be like, you know, doing all the clapping. Broke that sumbitch in one day because I clapped too loud because I would like get up to it and clap. All right. Anyway, let's continue on. What is this? Oops. Hello. There we go. Lily asked, the question I asked myself at 3 a.m. are rather bleak for public consumption. Maybe that's a reference I missed. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. Don't lean on the wall, Lily. Don't lean on the walls with the pacemaker. Okay, let's continue on. Ooh, that big 80s hair. I love it.
And even windows will take an active part in the home, according to another researcher, David Button.
This is today's glass technology, whereby combining thin transparent coatings with ordinary conventional glass, we're able to change the performance of the glass. We can diffuse the glass for privacy, and with other coatings, we can control.
I don't know about you guys, but that guy's not geeking out enough. He's way too stoic over that. I would love something like that. But yeah, we have this today. This is a technology that we do have.
The glare and the solar radiation. In other words, we can vary the performance of the window. This liquid crystal display TV
LCD.
again involves a material sandwiched between two thin pieces of glass. Screens more than a meter wide are being developed.
Yeah, now they're LED and they're 90 inches. Look at that little thing with the antenna.
These systems depend on light passing through the glass. But this glass has a coating which can act as a light source in itself, becoming a prototype display screen. This imaging technology is embodied in very thin coatings, which will be developed to be transparent. And when combined with ordinary glass, it means that your glass tabletop could become a VDU screen, and indeed your window could become something very remarkable.
So a simple command could turn a window into a wall.
Yeah, so they kind of got that right, the big ass TV. But they got that from 1984, let's be real. But yeah, the glass thing, the video inside the glass, they do, we can do that, but it never really takes off. I think because there's a lot of glare. That's their big problem. There's just too much glare. But yeah, here we go. Somebody put a comment and delete it? All right, well, I'll just get back to it. Fair use.
And you could decorate it how you want. Or it could be a television or a computer screen. Well, that may be a little futuristic or too expensive for most people.
Yeah, practice crashing into the two towers with the big screen.
But there's one area where homes are going to have to change.
2020, there will have been enormous pressure on us to cut down on our burning of fossil fuels to protect the environment. This means that energy management in our homes will become of critical importance.
Got that.
There are already materials that can help. This honeycomb material is being used on the outside of a building in Strathclyde to heat it by trapping the energy and diffuse daylight as it
And farts.
hits the walls. And aerogel, this is aerogel here, is a form of glass with a similar structure at a microscopic level. It can do the same job, but it'll be thinner and transparent. And if these two things become widely used by 2020, the coatings could one day reduce heating bills almost to zero and help to cut down our use of fossil fuels.
Yeah, I don't think she should be handling that stuff without gloves. Personally, I'm watching you, DuPont.
The other key is for the home to use more energy more intelligently. The heating system could learn your daily routine and only heat the rooms that you'll be using. The living room would be at just the right temperature as you come downstairs.
The people who are already planning the home we'll be living in 30 years assure us that we can take as much or as little of this technology as we like. The crucial point is that there'll be no single home of the future, there'll be millions of different ones. We choose the type of home we want to live in. The technology takes a back seat.
Joke's on you, BBC. Now you can't afford a home. So yes, there you go. Oh, man. I'm feeling the pain, I'm telling you. All right. So there you go. That was a prediction for the future. So I don't see any requests for the AI characters, so I guess I'll call it a night. So thanks for, oh, here we go. I guess Lily just wanted to watch the video. Let's see if the hail, oh, you spelled hail wrong. It's bang H9, Lily. But what, you know what? I'll put that in for you. Hold on. Because I think you're on a mobile device. No need for you to get all tappy. I'll save you the trouble. Yeah, I don't, yeah, that's a loaded question, Lily. Let's see what happens. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you got to be careful with those algorithms, Lily. It's something I want to touch on. Actually, this is a good moment for me to, actually, you know what? Let me just go ahead and we'll talk about this, but let me pull up the hail. And then we'll transmit it to them. Pull in the question. All right. There we go. I'll transmit it. But yeah, so I want to talk at some point about how algorithms are basically splitting us all apart. It's getting really, really dangerous. And it has a lot to do with why we have a lot of the violent things happening around all the different facilities and different cities. And people they're, I don't want to say it's AI psychosis, but their algorithms are not helping. If you're already mentally not in shape, it's very easy to fall for what your algorithm's feeding you, because its job is just to give you what you want to see. And I have to really work to just go and find something else to basically just get the AI off of, you know, or the algorithms on YouTube on what I'm watching. Otherwise, it'll just go ape and, excuse me, and just show me everything that's popular around whatever I just watched. So, you know, if you are extremely political, that can be actually dangerous. Let's see here. I don't know. I didn't test my AI, but let's see what happened. Let me just really quick check the landing here and make sure the HAL transmitted back. My bad. I fell asleep on the job. Let's see here. I don't know that I don't think it worked. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens.
I can't help but think that safety in aviation is a matter of rigorous training, skill, and adherence to protocol rather than background or beliefs. it seems important to focus on the capabilities and reliability of the system or individual in question. AI and human pilots each bring distinct strengths to the field of aviation safety, introduce nuances AI cannot emulate.
So there you go. There is actually a lot of AI in aviation that assists the pilots, by the way. They're not going to fully automate, but the automated systems are actually more electronic and software, but not like legacy software, but not AI. But anyway, thanks for coming out, Lily. I appreciate you staying up late, because I know this is way past your bedtime. So thank you so much for coming. And oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's see here. You said that if you're promised a great time in heaven, you don't mind getting there quicker. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Lily. I really appreciate that. You know, a lot of YouTubers are struggling right now, and it was good to take a break. Just not getting the views that I used to. So I have actually kind of want to talk a little bit about what my plans are for the channel. I don't want to stop making live streams and my weekly video, because I was doing like 5 videos a week, and the views just kept slowly bleeding off because I kept changing the algorithm. So now that I have my part-time job, I can't record during the week. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to batch record a couple weeks in advance on the weekend, and then just edit as I go through the week. And that should make it so that I can get through, do my weekly videos. But yeah, the live streams, I love the live streams. Plus I can test all my technology that I'm building. And yeah, the next video that I'm doing, I think I'm talking about, oh gosh, I forgot what it was, but I already recorded it. I just have to edit it. And next week, I'm going to talk about, in the live stream, I'm going to talk about robots, AI automation, and some of the innovations that are coming that are just in the last 6 months, year, really starting to make me think that the trades are going to see the same thing happen that desk jobs, white collar jobs are seeing, where all the entry level jobs are being absorbed, where one person can do all the work. So you're going to see a lot of force multiplication with the robotics. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And oh yeah, this is the I don't think that's what's happening though, Lily. Just denigrate women, you get a ton of views. Yeah, I know some guys play that up, but I'm too old and tired for that shit. I'll be honest. I just felt talking about that stuff wasn't changing anything. Not going to change anything. So I just rather focus on things that I can change and you know, improve what I'm doing, build my skills around that. And that's just been my focus. But anyway, thanks for coming out, Lily. I really appreciate it. I know it's late for you, so go home, get some rest, or you're probably already home, but get some rest, catch up with you later. And everybody else, thanks for sticking with me a whole year, going on a year on October 17th. I'm looking forward to pulling out some of my classic documentaries. They're not super long, but they're very fun, and have a lot more comedy and more pop culture based. And if I had more time, I'd make more of those. But anyway, thanks again for coming out. And until the next one, got to get my end stream button ready. Peace.